So, I mean, we can have a quick look at this, and there's copies for you. This is just pulled off a Google search, but it's something that I have worked with a lot, and in our training we look at in terms of parenting styles, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it before. But the 4 styles that are named here, there are other models with variations of this, but authoritarian, and it's got things like punishment, obedience, rigid, because I said so would be the kind of key to the authoritarian parent. Look, I am the adult, you're the child, just do it. Which, in some situations, perhaps not said with that tone, is the way that things are, but the idea is about, having a balance. So you've got authoritative is this authoritative one is the one that we kind of all aim for, I think, because it's the one that all the research is coming back saying that children that grow up with parents that use mainly an authoritative style are kind of the most balanced young adults and are able to make decisions. And it's really difficult because no 2 parents will have the same style, and so you often get one who, mum is a bit more permissive, but can manage the authoritative stuff, and dad is very authoritarian. That's just a very stereotyped example, but that sets off a lot of dynamic in the household, which is quite difficult to manage as well, because how does a child cope with that? Again, it's the consistency and different ways of showing love. But the authoritarian at the extreme end, you're looking at very low levels of warmth and supportiveness. So actually delivering this kind of, because I said so, just get it done, why can't you do that, what's wrong with you, sort of, and very critical of the child, and using a lot of punishment, and very, very rigid, but without the warmth. So there's not any understanding at all, and that can be quite harmful for children. And kind of the dragon mother thing. If anybody's, I haven't read the book, don't think I want to, but I saw the lady and she sounded a bit scary for that whole, I will tell you, you'll just do lessons all day. Whereas the authoritative parent has high expectations of their child, maintains high standards, and has this line here is behaviour control, demanding this. So there's high levels. What we demand from our child is still up there, but we do it in a way that has a huge amount of warmth and supportiveness. So because you don't have to be shouting and giving lots of punishments and taking away privileges and things like that.
Superman, I think, quite scary.
Yes.
That's what people model their parenting on.
Yes, it's quite simplistic.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was
Superman, I find quite scary, because the children in that situation are quite extreme, but that's what everyone thinks that they should be doing. It's like
just sitting them on the naughty step. But again, it's that why are you putting
and
that
forcing
child
them to say sorry.
Yeah, forcing them to say sorry and
They don't
making
really
them sit
mean
there through. Think about what you've done, and all the child's thinking about is how much they hate you because you make them sit on a step, and how quickly they can get off that step. And they have to, the way that Montessori described this is kind of, a child as a toddler, begins to develop their will, and for a while they haven't got control over it, and that's where the impulse control comes in and things like that, because they don't have control over their will. And between the age of 3 and 6 they develop it. Some children develop it really young, and you go, wow, we've got a child less than 3 in the school who you just think, you can just say, could you go and get something? You can give them complex instructions and go, okay, and off they'll go do all these things. You have children 6+ years old, and children who don't, who perhaps have very permissive parenting or are unloved and don't have any structure, who post 6 years old are not in control of their will. So you end up with teenagers making really silly decisions for themselves, not keeping themselves safe, and then you end up with adults who, perhaps have challenges when it comes to even impulse control or choices and things like that. So there's, I think that again the word that comes up is balance, and it's having that balance. And so the authoritative label is kind of indicative of the balance that would be there. And a very important point was made earlier about we all fluctuate between these at certain times, hopefully not into the completely unloved, neglectful category. I think that's the least visited. But I think there are moments when you might find yourself being authoritarian because you've just got to the end of your tether and you just think, can't cope with the situation anymore for whatever reason.